And I'm going to stop. Okay, I'm stopping video.
Okay, so good morning. We're opening the subcommittee meeting at 9:03. Present are the individuals that you see on the screen. And we're going to go into closed session as this is a subcommittee meeting to review behavior plans and other confidential information. So I'm going to pause recording. Actually, I'm going to have some of us, I take that back, read into closed session and then I will pause recording. And as soon as I find my closed session, we can do that. Can one of the individuals present read what is on the screen for authorization of closed session? Michael or Ed?
Whereas the Northern Virginia Regional Local Human Rights Committee desires to discuss in closed session client-related matters, and whereas pursuant to VA Code 2.1-344A, paragraph 15, for the protection of the privacy of individuals and their records in personal matters not related to public business, such discussions may occur in closed session. Excuse me. Now, therefore, to be resolved that the Northern Virginia Regional Local Human Rights Committee does hereby authorize discussions of the aforestated matters in closed session.
Michael, can you second?
Second.
And you're both in agreement. Ed, you're in agreement?
I'm in agreement, yes.
Michael, you're in agreement? Thank you.
Yes.
Very good. All right, I am going to stop sharing. We are now in closed session. I'm going to pause the recording. Resume recording. And we're going to read ourselves out of closed session back into open session. Whoever would like to read this.
I'll read it. Whereas the Northern Virginia Regional Local Human Rights Committee has this day adjourned into closed session in accordance with the formal vote of the committee and in accordance with the provisions of the Virginia Freedom of Information Act. And whereas the Freedom of Information Act requires certification that such closed session was conducted in conformity with the law. Now, therefore, be it resolved that the Northern Virginia Regional Local Human Rights Committee does hereby certify that, to the best of their knowledge, only matters lawfully exempted from open meeting requirements, and only such matters for the protection of the privacy of the individuals and their records in personal matters not related to public business were heard, discussed, or considered.
Very good. Michael, can you second?
Second.
And then I'm going to ask you, each of you, to so certify. So Ed, do you so certify?
I so certify.
Thank you, Michael.
So certify.
Thank you. We are back into open session. The recommendations from the closed session are that individual number 1 will return on November 16th, or this plan will discontinue being reviewed by the LHRC, and the advocates will follow up on that. That's the first recommendation. The second recommendation is individual number 2 their plan will be reviewed again at the August 17th meeting. So can I have a motion and a second on those recommendations, or do you have any changes to those recommendations?
No changes. Motion.
I second the motion.
Thank you. And so we do have to do roll call. Michael, do you agree with this motion?
Yes, agreed.
Ed, do you agree?
I do agree.
Perfect. Very good. Those will be the recommendations that we will make to the full committee. The last business that we want to discuss is we do have a pretty hefty agenda coming up for the June meeting, and we also have a series of individuals who are resuming services at their day program, and those plans are going to begin to come back into play. I don't have an exact number, but I do expect at least 5 plans. So at present, for the June 15th meeting, 1, 2, 3, 4, 6, 7 plans as of right now to be reviewed at that June meeting, and with the potential another 5 that need to be reviewed. So certainly the request of the LHRC is to consider, and we can send this out to all members, but as a subcommittee, do you agree to recommend another subcommittee before the full committee where we can review some of those interim plans and make those recommendations before the full committee?
Yes, based on that number 7, I think it would be prudent to have to attempt to have a subcommittee prior to the formal full meeting. And I volunteer those that didn't attend today to be first in line.
I second that motion.
Put that in your email.
Mm,
Go ahead, make that motion, Michael.
Voluntold.
Voluntold. Very good. So we'll make the recommendation and put forth an email to all committee members to have a subcommittee prior to that full committee meeting, which I mentioned is June 15th. Try to schedule something before then, so that again, we can have everything approved in this subcommittee, that subcommittee with these additional plans at that meeting, so as not to overwhelm that meeting that already has 7 plans that are planned to be reviewed at that. So we'll move forward with that.
Sounds good.
Very good. All right, any other questions or thoughts before we end the subcommittee meeting?
No, I'm good.
and I do have a quick question. I hope this doesn't happen, but if we have a reoccurrence on June 15th where we're not able to go into full committee, then what happens?
Then we'll similarly have another subcommittee to review those 7 plans and make recommendations that, again, they still move forward, and then we'll have them approved at the next full meeting and certainly seek to have that next full meeting happen. I know we're not meeting in July. If it becomes necessary for us to do that to get caught up on the work, we may need to do that just to meet to approve what the subcommittee has accomplished. So there is the option to do that. But I think that as the technical advisors to this committee, we will put out reminders about the subcommittee before the next meeting and reminders about that meeting so that we can get as many participants as possible. So we will seek to do that before that next meeting.
Great. Okay, thank you.
Yep, thank you. Thank you both for participating today. And if there's no other comments or thoughts, then we will close the meeting at 10 a.m.
Okay.
Great, thank you.
And we need a motion for adjournment.
Motion to adjourn.
The motion,
Very good. Michael, motion. Ed, you second.
yes, I do. Yes, I
Michael,
do.
are you in agreement?
Yes.
Ed, are you in agreement?
I am.
Perfect. We've adjourned the meeting at 10 a.m. Thank you both, and I'm going to stop recording now. Well, let's stop sharing. Let's do that. And then I'm now going to stop the recording. Thank you both.